Let us know your thoughts via WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is 0809 440 And you can also tweet at smooth981. And we're also streaming live on YouTube, so you can catch the live stream and you can post a comment on there as well. This morning, we're talking about training people in blockchain and AI. Our guest is Aderemi Lanre. Aderemi Lanre is the founder and chief visionary officer for Accencdis. Good morning, Aderemi, and welcome to Business Express.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Zibby. It's good to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Lovely to have you. All right, so the federal government has unveiled a plan or an initiative to train 1,000 Nigerians annually in AI and blockchain. You can find that article. It's up on Nairametrics. But anyways, how do you think the government is actually going to embark on this training?
Okay, so I read the article and it's a great initiative, by the way. Very, very beautiful initiative, training people in blockchain and blockchain and technology. But I have some concerns though. While it is very, very achievable, right? I didn't see the end goal. I was trying to look for somewhere on the article where I was going to say, okay, the first goal is to train them in blockchain and then now push them into, let's say, software development or something. Because training people in blockchain alone is not enough, right? What are the applicable things that they would do with that knowledge? Right? It's like going to learn about a particular technology. You're not being, okay, are they going to be provided with laptops? Are they going to start learning how to code? What aspect of blockchain are you teaching them? Are you just teaching them the theoretical aspect? Are you teaching them the types of blockchain? What exactly is the goal for teaching people blockchain technology? Right? It's very attainable, right? All they just need to do is to get maybe an expert in blockchain technology, have a room, and then start teaching people what blockchain is and all of that. But then again, what is the end goal? What would people do with this knowledge? If someone who doesn't know anything about technology before is brought into a room where he's starting to learn about blockchain, considering how complicated the technology blockchain is, what would they do with that information? What would they do with that knowledge? So yes, it's achievable teaching people about blockchain, but would they even understand, right? And then even if they understand, how do they apply that particular knowledge? I think those are the major questions that have been on my mind since I read the article.
All right. What kind of equipment would a person actually need to carry this out?
Well, basically, training people on blockchain technology doesn't require so much. All you need is a slide that breaks down the technology, into relatable and understandable points. And maybe you can even have this kind of training virtual. I mean, I'm even organizing a free training very soon on blockchain and cryptocurrencies. But then again, what I'm trying to say is you don't necessarily need so much to achieve this, right? Provided we have people that are interested in, having that knowledge, having that understanding. All it takes is just maybe a virtual environment. You can choose to make it physical for the case of, or the purpose of, people connecting with one another, networking. You can choose to make it a physical event, but I don't think you necessarily need so many tools. All you need is internet, a laptop, slides, and a video conferencing platform like Zoom that we're currently using. So I don't think it's that complicated.
All right, thanks for that. Remember, if you've got a question, you've got a comment, this is the time to send it through WhatsApp number 0809 440 All right, so we're talking about training people in blockchain. When it comes to this training, Aderemi, is it specifically designed towards solving software puzzles to verify transactions?
That's exactly what I mentioned initially that, while I was reading the article, I was trying to find the main purpose of the training, right? There are different kind of trainings when it comes to blockchain technology. If you're training software developers, people who are already full stack developers on blockchain development, it's a different thing, right? So that would mean you're training them on how to write codes that can help build a blockchain technology, a blockchain network rather. if you're training newbies, like people who have no idea of what blockchain is, right?
Mm.
What is the goal? Why are you training them? Are you training them so that they can become community managers? Are you training them so that they can have an idea of how the technology works before you push them into other sectors? What exactly is the goal? And I did not see that on the article, right? I'm as well looking forward to what the outcome of the training would be. Because if you go straight into, let's say you go to the NYSC camp and then you pack a lot of youth, let's say 1,000 of them, and you say, oh, I want to teach you blockchain. To what end? What is the goal? Why are you teaching them blockchain? I don't have an answer to that question, even up to this point. So hopefully, as time goes on, we'll be able to, get more answers as the time draws nearer.
All right. Now let's talk about use case for this blockchain technology. How is it that it can be applied? How can it be applied in practical life, in everyday living, really?
All right, so I think one of the popular and the most used case for blockchain technology is in the case of finances, where cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin come into play. For example, if you want to send money to someone in the UK or in the US using traditional means, right, it may be very, very complicated and it may take days. The fees as well are usually very, very steep, depending on how much you want to send. Let's say you have a business transaction of, let's say, $500,000, or let's say $100,000. Maybe you want to close a deal, ship cars or something, and you want to make that payment. The process is quite lengthy. Now, but with Bitcoin, it's not so, because it's basically a one-click transaction. You get the person's wallet address, you send the money, and at the end of the day, you're paying fees that are as low as $5 for a very, very huge amount of money, right? That's like the most popular use case, because that's what the Bitcoin network came out with and was propagating. But apart from that, in the Nigerian sector, bringing the use cases down to our locality, there are lots that we can use. I think the last time I was on TV, I was on a rise. I spoke extensively on how this technology can be used in the electoral system, right? And also in the identification system as well, like to create digital IDs that exist on the blockchain. Yeah, so I think those are like practical use cases that we can employ blockchain technology in Nigeria.
Okay. And this is also something I'm curious about, energy, of course.
Yeah.
Is this a major concern?
That depends. That depends on the consensus of the blockchain. Now, a consensus is more like how a blockchain reaches a transaction success, basically. So, for example, the Bitcoin blockchain uses the proof of work consensus mechanism, which means that a lot of people out there who are miners in quotes have to burn energy to solve complex transactions, to be able to get their transactions on the blockchain so that they can get rewarded, right? But that's not the same for the likes of proof of stake or proof of history, right, which are other consensus mechanisms that other blockchain uses. Now, those consensus mechanisms are not energy intensive. The reason why proof of work is energy intensive is because your computer system, the system that you're using to perform all those transactions, carry out all those tasks, has to be very, very high in terms of its capacity. And sometimes because of that, people employ a lot of use a lot of GPUs that now consume energy. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, we use energy every day, right? Even the manufacturing
Mm.
company uses energy. So why is the focus solely on Bitcoin and blockchain technology? So yeah, I don't think it's that energy intensive, although it's something that has been debated time and time over.
All right, we're speaking with Aderemi Lanre. He's the founder and chief visionary officer for Accencdis. We're almost out of time, but I want to ask a question. If you give a young person advanced skills training in an environment where there aren't a lot of jobs, um, is that going to cause an increase in the likelihood of them leaving the country? Because guess what? They have the skill, they have the education, but they don't have the opportunities to actually use what they've learned or acquired.
All right, so that works two ways. It works in okay, so the first way is um if I get a training, for example, I am a very curious person, and in fact, that is what has driven me to this particular position that I am in right now. So I'm a very curious person. If I get a training that I think, oh, this is futuristic, this is something that will benefit me, what I do is I do more research on it. Right now, I'm not someone who is very big on Japa, right? I'm a hardcore Nigerian. I love Nigeria a lot. Yes, I am. So I always think about, okay, how can I implement this thing that I have learned in this particular situation or in this particular country that I am in, right? So that's like the first scenario. Somebody learns, they expand on the knowledge, they research, and then they implement or find a space where they can fix themselves in. For example, Accencdis is a birth child of my experience in the blockchain space and me looking at, okay, I have this knowledge, I have this understanding. How do I implement it into the system that I currently am in? There is no opportunity, so I'm creating one, right? That's one way. The other way is, like you said, someone gets the training, they get the skills, and there's no opportunity, so they resort to leaving the country. But then again, the training that you're providing, is it one that, is so detailed enough that somebody can use it outside the country? That's another thing, right? Are you providing basic training or are you providing advanced level training? Which none of this was stated in the article. So yeah, I mean, those are the two case scenarios that I can think of as a person. If I was to attend that training, those would be the two options. So yeah, I guess that answers it.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. We've got a message coming through. And this is from Gerard, and he says blockchain technology falls under the domain of computer science. A good understanding of math and physics are necessary requirements for computer studies. The use case is quite broad. All right. Thank you for this. And all right. Thank you, Gerard. Let's see. Cisco Delgado says there's a lot of opportunity here in Nigeria for blockchain experts. That is all the time that we have this morning for Business Express. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your messages. And of course, special thanks to you, Aderemi, for joining us on Business Express this morning.
Thank you very much. It's good to always be here.
That was Aderemi Lanre, founder and chief visionary officer, Accencdis. Do stay with us. There's more to come on the Smooth Breakfast.